Now, Sudan has seen a surge in extreme violence in recent weeks, with no political solution in sight for the conflict between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. And since April last year, more than 23,000 people have been killed. Today, a new Amnesty International reports that armored vehicles made by the United Arab Emirates and equipped with French military technology are being used in the country's civil war, in breach of the existing Darfur arms embargo. Now let's bring in Aymeric Eloin. He's an advocacy officer and arms transfers at Amnesty International to help us understand. Welcome, Aymeric Eloin. So please tell us more about your findings.
Yes, good evening. Yes, we have identified some French equipment incorporated on Emirate manufactured armored vehicles made by the Edge Group in Emirates. So you have to know that in Sudan we have two arms embargo. One embargo imposed by European Union on the whole of Sudan, and another embargo, as you said, in Darfur imposed by United Nations. For France, with two firms, La Croix Défense and Candace France, all the next firms, has exported components, French components, to be incorporated on manufactured armored vehicle by Emirates. And after that, Emirates has decided to re-export our equipment, the French equipment, with the armored vehicle on Sudan, and probably in violation in breach with the UN embargo on Darfur. So we are probably in the case of an unauthorized re-export weapon from a client of France to Sudan, a country where the two parties of the conflict are committing humanitarian violation like war crime, and this constant flow of weapons is a source of suffering for the Syrian population. So we are in front of a case where the client of France, Emirates, is breaching the UN embargo, and France has the responsibility to ensure that his own equipment are not used for committed violations.
You're talking about responsibility, but we're talking about essentially about French manufactured systems that are, as you said, incorporated into armored vehicles. But we can't say for sure that France knew that these APCs would end up in the hands of the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces.
Yeah, it's totally correct. We have a difficulty because, we cannot say clearly that France is responsible. And if I repeat the elements of language from French authorities, France has the most robust system of control of export of weapons. But we have to know and to remember that France has a responsibility to respect its own international commitment. France is linked by different international instruments. And firstly, France is linked by the European Union embargo on Sudan. And when France decides to export weapons to Emirates, a country who is very well known to violate regularly embargo in the past in Libya and again in Sudan, France has to take all the necessary measures to avoid the fact that Emirates could re-export weapons, French weapons, without the authorization of French authorities. So what is at stake in this case is the knowledge by France about the comportment, the behavior of Emirates. Is France knows that Emirates is breaching the UN embargoes? We have to recall that France is a member permanent of Security Council. France is an important member of the European Union. Emirates are one of the most prominent clients of France. How is it possible that France is not aware that Emirates is re-exporting French components, including in armored vehicle manufactured by Emirates? So we have to take to put the light on this case and to have answer from France clearly on the film also.
So if indeed a violation is being committed, is there any recourses to stop this from happening?
Yeah, to end the case, we can say definitively that probably Emirates are breaching, clearly the UN embargo. What we could do now is continue to make pressure on France, because you know that France is clearly engaged in this conflict, because France has organized last year an important humanitarian conference to gather money to help to have a more efficient humanitarian aid in direction of Sudan. So France is engaged, but France has to be coherent, and has to be responsible. And France has to stay to tell to the French film, you have to stop to export immediately French equipment to Emirates without guarantee that that there is no repetition of this case of re-exploitation. And we are in the case of clearly advocacy work usual. As you know, Amnesty is a diplomatic NGO. We have exchange very constant, serious with institutions.
Okay. So, Emeric, unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much. To try to understand your very interesting report. Thank you very much.